Good morning, it's Tuesday the 22nd of January. We've woken up to an amazing ice pattern on this window. It rained heavily last night and it's frozen this morning. And look at that. Assuming it even comes out on this camera. But that's pretty impressive. Very frosty and chilly day, and I'm on the final stages of basically strip out and removing the remainder of the wiring. So this is a quick clip to show you a craft with no bumper basically, and a hint to anyone doing a bit of DIY mechanics. I may not put this bumper on for quite a while. I've noticed one of the headlight clips brackets is snapped off, so I'm going to have to repair that. So whenever you're dismantling something, either make sure you absolutely 100% know where all the screws go and where you put them, or put them back in the holes. It doesn't take 5 minutes just to put the screws back in the holes like that one there, and then remove them again in a few days, weeks time. Now I've got my torch illuminating that thing in the background. Let's see if I can get this camera down to a point where it's a bit more visible. There. That is the siren speaker. And the reason why I've taken the bumper off, apart from to be able to get to hands in the way, things like the headlight wiring, because they've spliced the headlight flasher is just simply spliced into the cabling there, and I've got to make that good. Also various cables are all dangling around, I'm not sure what that is. It's not part of the ambulance side of the wiring, just curious what it is. But anyway, that thing in the background is the siren speaker, and you'll see there's a tube. And that tube goes down and down and down and down and down and down and down. And it's actually tied on to the front cross member with a dirty great big red cable tie, and it goes to where the hole in the bumper would have been for the horn. Never even occurred to me that the horn, the siren, wasn't just a single device bolted on somewhere, but no, the actual sound is piped down effectively a rubber tube from a driver unit up there, and that's bolting up there. And it explains why I was looking at it a while ago thinking what's all this wiring, because I could see it was different wiring. The bumper itself, somebody's fitted an aftermarket bumper on this van. It's not a standard Volkswagen one. We did wonder why the fit wasn't particularly good, and most of the plastic clips holding were missing, so it was worth taking it off. Can you see that? Yeah, just there. If it's visible, I shall point to it. Just in there, you can see where the filler's been put. That's better. You can see a blob of filler. That's where the blue lights were. So at least I know the wings are original. There's a few dents that they filled as well. It's had some knocks and bangs. But the other reason for taking this apart is I had noticed that on the driver's side, the wing is not straight along the edge, and it's had some dents knocked out of it. But what I wanted to check was that the securing for the cross member, can that pull down to that far? Yeah, the cross member there, it's not been in a heavy impact. There's no sign of any work being done there. It doesn't hurt to just double check for signs of crash damage, because you know, these vehicles do get walloped. And this van has clearly had some paint, a lot of paint. I hope, I don't know, that they just had a lot of problems getting the glue off and they've just painted it to make it look good. But certainly somebody's done some work on it before they sold it. So the bumper's different, the wings have been properly filled and all the blue lights removed. So I can't argue really, because it's all work that I don't have to do, and it's good enough. It's a good enough standard that I'm not going to complain. Now, one other thing. Reminder to myself, there's a relay there, that one, and look at that fuse, melted. The relay was half hanging out, The fuse is melted. Going to have to find out where that lot goes. I do have one electrical circuit that doesn't work, the washer pump. I wonder if that relay and fuse has anything to do with it. It's not clear on the wiring diagram. It looks like it comes from the body control unit, but I need to identify why that fuse is melted and where it goes to. So again, it's always worth sometimes just pulling things apart, have a nose about, and that'll do for now. There may be further videos today, but there's, pulling wiring out, there's not a lot for me to teach anyone or show anybody. This van's going to be completely different to any other ambulance, and he's pulling apart, and it's just common sense. Following where it goes, buzzing stuff out, battery disconnected obviously, until the job's done. It's Wednesday, 22nd of January. We've had some snow. Not a great deal, but it changes the perspective. To sort of capture this before before it's all gone. Our car's sitting there charging up, and the automatic heating system's just come on, ready to take our youngest to school. But and the dogs are sitting here, oops, tripod, waiting for me to feed the chickens. And sometimes they get the odd crumb out of one of the bowls. But and Sam. Yep, hello Sam. But yeah, sun's just beginning to come up over my pond. And today in the van I'm going to be continuing to remove the electrics, and I'll update that later on once I've fed the birds. There's some wires in the headlights, and I've got to make good that cable there. Just solder it up, put some heat shrink on it, job done. That was the input from the headlight flasher unit, which obviously I don't need, so there's no point having it. I also took out the, is it visible from up here? It's the ECU, not high enough. Yeah, there it is. Yesterday I just took out the plenum for the where the pollen filter is. Took that out, and I also took out the water bottle, which is sitting there right now, all clean. It was completely full of gudge at the bottom. We do have a rear wash wipe, but the windscreen wiper doesn't. The windscreen wash wipe doesn't work. The pump doesn't come on. It wasn't blocked, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to clean the bottle out, because they do get a lot of accumulation of gunge in the bottom of them. And now I'm going to have to fault find the pump. But the other reason why I took it out, took the bottle out and the plenum out, was because I had a bit of a blonde moment. Dropped the spanner, couldn't reach it. I thought, sod it, messing around trying to get in and out of small spaces while I was pulling these cables out. Take these two items out of the way, get my spanner back, clean the washer bottle out, get at the water pumps, which are, the water pumps are just dangling there at the moment. And I managed to drop a spanner right down in the back there, because I wasn't paying attention, and I was trying to drink a cup of coffee at the same time, and it was cold, and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But with the washer bottle removed, I had a lot better access to where I was trying to pull these cables out and identify things. So this is the one that goes off to the fan. I don't know whether this is going to actually show. No, I can't really get the camera in because I'm too close to the fence. But there's a secondary, that's the primary fan there. There's a secondary fan over there that this cable goes to, and there's the cable for it there. I did wonder what this odd wire was. There's another cable hanging there, that's the temperature sensor, it's outside temperature sensor. I've got to make good the wiring for the horn, which is just on the end there. Again, just solder it back together. I took both headlights out again because it was easy to get access, and the headlight on the driver's side needs a bit of remediation. And then I can put the front back on, and that's everything done. Now while I'm on this side of the van, there's something for Sprinter and Crafter owners to take note of if you haven't done so already. In order to unbolt the siren and remove the pipe, which is sitting over there, will it come out? Yeah, that is the pipe that was connected to the siren that went down to the bumper. In order to get the siren out, which was bolted on the inner wing, I needed to take the wheel arch liner out. This van, as I said, it doesn't have a lot of rust in it, it's very clean underneath, but here, in this void here, up to there, where that plate is, where a couple of retaining clips go, that was completely full of soil. Completely. Absolutely full up with moist, wet soil. That's a rust trap in the making. There is a small drain hole there, but it was blocked with the soil and leaves and stuff. When I take the wheel arch off the other side, if there's as much soil in there, I'll actually film it. But I was absolutely amazed how much soil had built up there. I've cleaned it all out. I've also did a quick experiment. I pulled that piece of trim piece off. That's held on by 4 plastic clips. I should go and get them. See if I can put them somewhere where they're visible. So I took that particular trim off. Fortunately, even in this cold weather, I actually expected them to break. But where's the camera? Will it focus on that? Yeah. You can see it's deformed slightly, but the plastic is actually very, very flexible. Surprisingly flexible. And these parts here, which are the parts that go into the black part, bent back. It's got out of focus. Come on. There you go. Perhaps I better put it down. It's struggling. I'll put it down and zoom on it. Note to self, prepare props before filming. There we go. So you can see how they fit in the unit. They're very flexible. I did expect them to break and they didn't. So although I've ordered a whole bundle, I've ordered about 50 of them because I'm going to take all the side trims off and seal them with silicone. It may well be that I'll be able to salvage. I won't need any replacements at all, other than maybe ones that actually break at the top when I'm trying to get them off. The reason I took this off is I wanted to see how difficult it was to actually detach the panel. It was very easy to get at, and you'll notice that on the part that goes into the van, I can turn it slightly. On the part that goes into the van, you need to be able to compress those wings in order to extract it. And although it's probably not going to show, there are little shoulders that actually protrude outside of the metalwork. And I went on eBay. I've never bought one of these kits. It was about time I did. And I bought a trim removal kit. £15. 27 different types of plastic thingy, or nylon thingy. I thought it would be rubbish for that money, but sound come that way. And the ones I've been using to take the trim panel clips off are these. Is it that one? Or is it that one? Might be that one. That one there. Ooh. They're nice and solid. You know, these are good, sturdy bits of nylon, and trying to demonstrate what you're doing, Sam, and see where the camera's pointing is not easy. and I have no idea what it's pointing at. Can you help me, Sam? Can you help me point the camera? No, probably not. I'll zoom out, because I have no idea where that's pointing right now. Is that going to focus? Barely. Anyway, the tool slides in and closes that up beautifully, and that allowed me to retrieve all the clips once I'd prized off the cover. And these are nice, you know, it's a centimetre thick at the end there. They're not going to break. So today is just going to be a time delay. Piece of footage. I've got most of the box, most of the board, the electronics were attached to isolated now. There's a few cables I just needed to disconnect. The cable I need to remove today is that one snaking up there. That goes to all this switch gear up here, probably to the control unit. There's a few other things. I've got a single wire, red and blue wire, disappears up under the glove box somewhere. Haven't worked out where that one goes yet. Then the cabling I've just coiled up under the seat box. That cabling is the stuff that goes up into the van. I can't use any of it. It's all going to end up in the wrong place. I will reuse the cabling, but I can't use any of it as it is because it's not where I need it. And it doesn't do what I want to do, and it doesn't actually start where I want to start from either, because the electrics are probably going to end up predominantly up inside this overhead unit. You know, I'm going to make use of this space to keep most of my wiring. It's also going to be head height and accessible, and other than that it'll be dead space. So that's where most of what I'm putting in is going to go. Control panels, etc, etc. At least that's the current thinking. I'm very much working this out as I go along. I'm absolutely not going to do this on SketchUp, mainly because I'm actually bloody useless at using it, I've decided, and because most of what I do, everything I design, everything I build is in my head. I may sleep on it for weeks on end, go through umpteen iterations, but I do most things in my head. And if I make mistakes as a result of that, so be it. But it's a process that I enjoy doing. It keeps my brain working. I've spent 30 odd years working in IT, which is one of the most soul destroying job functions you can do nowadays. No matter what you do, it's not good enough. And I keep myself sane by being able to actually think on my feet and do things off the cuff in a lateral way. I suppose it comes back to my engineering days at GEC, where you had to be proactive and capable. So we'll see how we go with that. That's a bold statement. I could make complete Horlicks of this van now and everyone will laugh at me, but I don't intend to sketch out a great deal. I do a bit of measuring and a lot of thinking, and the only thing I do intend to leave in, if I can for a while at least, or at least leave it where I can get to it, is the controls for the heater. As soon as I service the thing, I've got the service kit arrived the other day, I'm now waiting for a couple of other parts. I will service the heater, put it back in, and I shall probably have that running in here for a few hours rather. There's a thing worth having. A whiteboard. That's a bit of the plastic I took out of the van. Seemed a good idea for it. I'm using that for notes of what I need to do, or things I need to buy. And that's probably about as near as I'll actually get to any kind of doing this in a documented way. Other than I've got a project schedule of tasks that I want to achieve within a certain time frame. The beauty of this piece of work though is it doesn't really matter. I've got all the time in the world. I mean, I'd like to have this thing in a usable state by the middle of April. I'm not entirely sure whether I'll be able to do that because I've got other pieces of work in the pipeline that I also need to spend time on. But anyway, rest of this video will just be time lapse of me pulling out that cable there, up there, and then if it gets a bit warmer, having some of the trim for the dashboard out, maybe have to have the instrument cluster out, and getting rid of the ambulance control unit, pulling out the wiring off the back of the switches, and there is, well you can't see it, in the far right hand corner there is a chopped off cable harness, which I think was originally for the radio. So for today, we just stop now. Sorry, I shall pause now and then actually go and plug the camera in because the battery's almost flat, and then switch over to time lapse. So that's all the caving removed from the door pillar, and all the caving that ran all the way along there, right to the back of the van. It's all removed. Had some fun and games with a couple of wires. There was a cable that went underneath to a reversing beeper, you know, one of those beep beep van reversing noises. And also a bit of entertainment getting to the rear light, the rear door switch, only because I was putting my hands in the wrong place. But that's got all that cabling out. I've kept the entire loom intact because it's all numbered, just in case there's anything I need to identify. But it was best to take it all out. Some of it I will be able to reuse, but not in the places it was actually in. So the only thing that's left now is the conduit that some of the cable's in. Might as well leave that there, no point not taking it out. I've left the mains cable in place because I will probably make use of it as it is, and I've left the remote control for the heater in place, although I did spend a while. I had to take the seat box out in the end because it was somehow they'd managed to loop it all the way around. So that's just laying there now because I do intend to use the heater in the winter while I'm working in here, so I want to keep that operational. So I'll leave the cable in there until I decide exactly where I'm going to mount it all. The loom was trapped under this seat box, so again I had to unbolt it just to pull it out. Somehow I managed to, the only casualty, don't know whether it's actually going to show up on here, the only casualty, I did manage to nick one wire, there it is, just sitting there. That goes to a microphone, probably a head above the driver's. It's not in focus, is it? Why aren't you in focus, little wire? Come on, focus. Focus. It's struggling. No, it's not going to focus. But anyway, one little casualty. Managed to nick that when I was... There it is. God, I'll get the hang of this one day. And I've got to take the headlining down yet to find out where that is and get rid of it. So, next job, it's getting cold now, so I may give up for today, but next job now is to trace the last harness, that one on the left, and that independent little wire on the right. It definitely goes up to that lot. Where's the zoom gone? That lot there. The switches I will probably reuse because they do the cabin lights and stuff like that. Don't think I need the ambulance control system anymore. You know, this, fortunately in this van, it's not a Genesis system. It's not full of thousands of flashing lights and cables all over the shop. There's quite a lot of it, but it's a standard, you know, auto electrician type. Wire it up on a bit of chipboard exercise. Dead easy to remove. No challenges at all. Probably a lot easier to take it out than it was to put it in. But I might just leave that panel there just as a novelty. You can see there's also the remnants of a microphone there as well, which may or may not be that cable. I don't think it is. I think the one I'm trying to get out is actually up there somewhere. But found some rust, which I need to deal with. Oh, can't see it from here. I've taken the bumper off because I need to repair one of the rear parking sensors, and I found a little bit of rust where the rubber seal goes around the door, so I'll be grinding that back and treating it before I put the bumper back on and everything else. But all in all, I'm quite happy bunny today. It's been a good day's work. All the cables gone. I've left the clips in place because I may well use those. Those that haven't fallen off, that is. You know, they've been out there for 8 years. If they haven't fallen off by now, they're going to stay there. Where are they? Those sort of things. Little clip there, look. And I've also left the cable ties in because it makes them a lot easier to actually see. Some of them are going to be in the way of the installation, but those I can reuse, I will. Right, and I think that's going to be it for today. It's getting dark, getting cold. I think it's probably time to go in. Ta-ta.